Feedback at work can often feel like someone took a spotlight and placed it on your weaknesses. Maybe they pointed out an error that you made at a meeting. Maybe they outlined areas where you need to improve. And very often we take feedback personal. Why? Because we link performance to our identity. Today, I want to talk to you about how to receive feedback without losing confidence and actually coming out stronger. You want to listen before you react. I've been there. I get it. You're receiving that feedback. Whether you agree with it or not, you feel like it's an attack. But you have to understand, and if you watched the previous video where I talked about how leaders need to navigate those difficult conversations, it is challenging for a leader to even walk into that uncomfortable situation and take the time to deliver feedback to you. It is not a natural thing for most people to deliver constructive feedback, or feedback of any kind for that matter. So if a leader is taking the time to provide you feedback, that means that they respect you enough to be honest with you. So when you are receiving feedback, do not sit there and argue and challenge and debate, but instead take the time to fully listen. That is one of the most important aspects of any communication within a relationship, and that is to listen. So how do we listen? Take the time to pull out a notepad of paper and a pen, or pull out your laptop, whatever it is, whatever device you're going to use. Take the time to sit there, listen to the feedback, and take notes. Write point form notes if necessary, and understand the feedback that is being provided to you. This is not the time to challenge, debate, argue. It is a time for you to sit there and listen. And if you are not clear on what the expectations are, so for example, if a leader says to you that the area of opportunity for you is communication and that you need to improve your communication skills, that might be very general. So you have every right in that scenario to ask questions, and that's fair. You can ask a question such as, what does effective communication look like from your point of view? And that's a fair question. But again, don't ask the questions with the intention of challenging the feedback, because that just comes across as disrespectful, and very often in those situations it will escalate into a potential conflict because now you're challenging your leader. And you need to show respect again because of the fact that they are taking the time to meet with you, and it's not a comfortable situation for them. So make it comfortable. And if you're not clear on something, ask the question respectfully. Take 24 hours before responding to the feedback. So very often when we're receiving feedback, the emotions can get in the way of an intelligent and rational decision. And you may say things in the moment that end up escalating towards a conflict. And you don't want to do that. So take the time again in that moment to just listen. Take notes. And if you are not in a position, maybe you're very emotional, just advise your leader that you're going to take some time to think about the feedback that's been provided, and ask them if it's okay if on another day, whether it's tomorrow, in a week from now, whatever the case may be, if they can sit with you if they do have any questions as they follow up. Now, again, you want to take the emotions out of it. So make sure that you are in a rational state of mind, and if you generally do have questions, then set a time to meet with your leader again to have that conversation. But again, be respectful. Don't argue. This is not a time to ask questions with the intention of debating, to challenge, and overall to just argue. It is an opportunity to ask questions so that you can take that feedback and improve yourself. Separate your work from your value. So very often when we're receiving feedback, we take it personal because we feel like that individual is taking a shot at our identity. And that's not the intention of the feedback. I remember specifically, I was working with this leader, and she was an outstanding leader. She treated me well. She was very respectful, but she sat down with me one-on-one to provide me with some constructive feedback. And during that conversation, she outlined many of the things I was doing well, but she outlined one area of opportunity was around attention to detail. And the fact of the matter is, I was accomplishing things. I was getting things done very quickly, but I wasn't taking the time to really focus on the details. And she wasn't saying it to expose me. She was saying it with the intention of outlining a blind spot. But in the moment, because I lacked that emotional maturity, I took it personal. I became resistant, and it was weeks later that I actually took the time to step back, remove the emotions, and actually focus on what this individual was saying. And when I focused on what they were saying, I realized that I was getting things done very quickly, but I wasn't taking the time to pay attention to the details. So when I actually took the time to progress and focus on the details, the quality of my work actually elevated. So not only was I efficient now, but I produced a much higher quality product. Listen to the facts and don't become emotional. Separate the facts from your identity. When you are receiving feedback, it's important to follow through. So don't just receive feedback or even say thank you for the feedback, but actually take the time to digest the information. And if you've actually listened and you've taken notes, then pick one thing that you can take action upon right now. Not 8 things, not 10 things. What is one thing you can do right now to take action towards closing that gap? And that's what you got to do in this scenario. Don't just listen, but take action. So some of you are thinking to yourself, well, yes, a great leader is going to respect me enough to be honest with me and to provide me with feedback, both positive feedback and constructive feedback. They're going to take the time to outline my opportunities with the intention of helping me to grow. But what if the person I report to isn't a great leader? What if they're a toxic boss? And in a future video, I will talk about toxic bosses and how to manage those situations. But for the purpose of right now in this moment, if you do have a toxic boss and they are providing you feedback, here's what I'm going to say to you. Consider the source. Understand the source of that information. And sometimes a toxic boss will say things with the intention of throwing you under the bus. They'll say things with the intention of letting you take, the trouble upon yourself so that the heat is off of them. But the fact of the matter is, it's still feedback. So don't pay attention to the delivery. Listen to the facts. Listen to the message. And there's always something that you can take out of every message, even if the person delivering it is either not a credible source or if they are a toxic boss. Focus on the message, not the approach. The next time that feedback comes your way, do not brace for impact. Take it as an opportunity for yourself to grow and progress. That's the leadership mindset. And every person, in the previous video I talked about the leadership mindset, closing the gap. Every person has a gap. The gap between where they are today and where they want to be. And that gap consists of the areas where you are looking to progress. And within that gap, especially for a leader, it's always filled with people. So we're trying to build relationships. We're trying to understand how different people function. And within that gap, we're trying to understand how we function. And the only way that you can understand what your blind spots are sometimes is when someone is willing to be honest with you and point out those blind spots. Not with the intention of putting you down, but with the intention of building you up. Some of the greatest feedback I've ever received. Think about this. When people ask for feedback, very often what they're asking for is positive feedback. They want you to tell them all the things that they do really well. But some of the most valuable feedback I have ever personally received in my career was constructive feedback. The times where people outlined what my opportunities were. Because if I understand what my opportunities are, only then can I take the action necessary to close the gap and progress and grow and to elevate myself. And the constructive feedback I've received over the years, whether it was from a really great leader or whether it was from a toxic boss, I took the message. I didn't always listen to the delivery. I didn't pay attention to that because the delivery may not have been very good, but I always listened to the message. I jotted down the facts and I took the steps necessary. I took the action necessary to elevate, grow, and progress. The next time that you receive feedback, don't brace for impact. Instead, lean in, listen, and take the action needed to close the gap.